and welcome back to my cozy corner of the internet. I'm Mayastar and you're joining me for a new unscripted video. And as always, I come armed with notes, but nothing too structured to work with, so we'll be meandering through and we'll just see how it goes. I'm hoping I've done something better with the lighting. The lamp behind me is becoming the bane of my existence when setting up these videos, so I have to pile some scarves on it to see if I can balance things out. I think I've got it quite good. You can be the judge of that, but if you're listening on the podcast, you're probably thinking, who cares? And you're quite right, it's not that important, but I've been messing about with it, so if you appreciate it, thanks. Okay, well, one of the main things we're going to be looking at today is the Abundance Affinity Attunement course, which is currently, at the time of you seeing this video, on special offer. The Abundance Affinity Attunement is a single attunement course, and the attunement is sent using the Orb of Life method, which allows you to receive it at your convenience and in the comfort of your own home without the need to make an appointment. And this attunement is quite versatile because it's a modality that allows you to add it to your existing practice. If you already have a practice for your manifesting work, such as keeping a gratitude journal or maintaining an abundance and prosperity altar, or simply using affirmations or visualization on a regular basis, these are all things that you can amplify by using the Abundance Affinity techniques, what's actually called the Abundance Affinity flow, in order to enhance and strengthen your practice so that you get results faster. And it also brings some clarity because it aligns you with very positive energies. So if you're pursuing goals or you've set yourself targets that are not aligned with your highest good, working regularly with the Abundance Affinity energy can help you to differentiate the goals that you should be pursuing from those that are just holding you back from pursuing the ones that are really meant for you, the things that will really progress your path and help you to align more powerfully with your highest spiritual intentions, which can be a challenge at first. It's hard to, like, people often will think, I'm not sure what my calling is. I don't know where to put my energy. I don't know where to invest my time. And this will help you to sort out what direction you really want to move in. So that's another reason that I really advocate this course, because it saves you time in the future. And I wanted to talk about the meditation track that I've composed for the Abundance Affinity Attunement. This one's been quite a lot of fun because obviously the energies for this modality are very positive, very upbeat, uplifting, high vibe, and messing around with different sounds to help express those frequencies was great fun. So what I usually do to get started is include the modality I'm going to be working with musically in my morning sessions for a few days before I'm even intending to start work. But this time I ended up starting work early rather than taking that 3 days. I think I started work on the first day, and I tend to gather my instruments around me, see what I feel called to, meditating on the energy. And the first thing I do is create the drum beat, and that will depend on which drum I feel called to. I have quite a collection. And then it's a question of determining which key suits this energy. And for this one, I chose the key D, and that seems to have created a very joyful sound. And I added layers of a guitar riff and some bells, and that was a little bit of luck as well, because I didn't buy those bells. They came to me, they were gifted to me, and they are absolutely perfect. It's the sound I've been looking for but haven't been able to find. It actually reminds me of some chimes that I used to have hanging by my window when I was a teenager, which are long gone. But yeah, these are really, really beautiful chime-like sounds. Reminds me of those chime balls, you know, the ones that you rotate around your hand. These bells create such a delicate ring that it sounds almost like those chime balls. So I'm very pleased with that, and you may hear that coming through in the meditation when it goes live, probably in the next few days at the time of recording, and probably about 2 weeks ago by the time you're watching this. But yeah, I'm quite excited about this one, and I'm definitely going to be listening to this one a lot myself, because it's very uplifting, and it seems to work very well for my evening dance practice. I only do my dance practice on nights where I haven't got full rituals to complete for other people, and because most of my rituals involve a dance opening, and some involve dance invocations as well. So sometimes I can end up doing hours of dance just in my normal work, but occasionally a day comes along where there isn't anything scheduled like that, and on those days I practice my dance rituals in the evening. Sometimes I just work on new choreography for older rituals, ones where I want to refresh it and bring it more up to date, especially now because I'm working with some different runes through my Lemurian work, and so that's adding a new dimension. I'll be interested to see how that unfolds over the coming months. But yeah, things are always evolving, changing, improving, and yeah, dancing to my own music is quite a sacred ritual for me. It helps me to explore what I'm trying to create for other people. It allows me to listen to the music in a different way. When I'm creating the music, I'm very tuned into the individual tracks that I put together as I'm trying to mix it just right, get it just right. But when I'm dancing to it, I get to listen to it as a whole, and I feel then like I'm hearing it the way other people will hear it. So dancing to my own music is something that feels like a very sacred ritual for me, and certainly this track is one that I think I'll be using in my rituals for quite a while. And sorry, I seem to have just been whittering on without even covering what we're going to be covering today. But that I have left it really vague this time. And the questions that I've got, I didn't have any. Again, it was another case where I didn't have any questions on this specific energy healing course. So what I did was just take a few questions that are related to it, although not specifically about it. Questions where in the course of answering the question, I'm likely to have mentioned the course, or I did mention the course. But I'll get to those at the end. So let's think, what else? What else do I want to cover? Oh yeah, I got more good feedback on these videos, so thank you. I'm really glad you're enjoying them. I'm quite enjoying making them. Like I said, it's really nostalgic, remembering the old Whispering Witch days. Welcome back to my cozy corner of you. I'm not whispering for these videos, but it certainly has the same vibe. And that brings me to something I did want to discuss. Back in the Whispering Witch days, I did get some criticism about my tendency to toxic positivity. So I thought I might take this opportunity to talk about toxic positivity, and especially when I'm working with these energies that are to support your manifesting work. And you know, when you're trying to align with the law of attraction and you're really trying to improve your life, it does sometimes feel like a bit of a battle at first, as you notice that your conscious mind likes to chuck out a lot of self-criticism and judgment, and you may find that every time you think, right, well, I hope and intend that this is what happens next. I hope the future that I'm working towards, and I'm blah, 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 whatever, whatever it is. And then your mind pipes up, you'll never do it. You never stick things out. And it's not necessarily your own voice. Sometimes it's the voice of your friends and family, or just the general consensus, the general narrative that is informing your inner dialogue. And so I don't see toxic positivity, or positivity in general, optimism, I don't see it as a negative. But it is something that definitely doesn't fit the universal narrative of being a victim. We do have a tendency to elevate victimhood, and there are certain people who glory in their weaknesses and challenges in a way that allows them to sort of invest their sense of self in limitations and lack. I think that's very unhelpful. And I'm speaking from a position of somebody who is registered disabled and faces serious challenges often. I'm not going to glory in them. I'm not going to focus on them. If I did that, I'd never do it. I'd never achieve anything. If you have these limitations, they're with you all the time. You don't need to reiterate that fact. You need to learn to work with it or work around it and that kind of thing. So again, in those circumstances, people claim that positivity is toxic. Well, I would claim that a lack of it is more toxic. It can really hold people back if they're focused always on the glass half empty. How is that more realistic than focusing on a glass half full? Like you could say, the glass isn't always half empty. You don't always have to look at it that way, and you don't always have to look at it as half full. You don't always have to do it that way, and that's fine. But it depends. If focusing on the glass half empty makes you happy, do it. But if it makes you feel a little bit below par, a little bit sad, a little bit focused on what you can't do rather than what you can, perhaps it would serve you better to change the way you think. And you could say, well, that's a bit toxic, isn't it? It's like brainwashing yourself. But do you not think that brainwashing yourself with pessimism and negativity is also brainwashing? It's, you're confronted with negative headlines and things every day. Do you not find that toxic? Does that not bring you down? And a lot of the time, that's something that I notice when I have a flick through the news early in the morning. Half the time, the headlines are not even true. They're just sensationalist, and they're trying to make it seem like things are a lot worse than they are. Because I suppose misery loves company, as they say. I don't love misery, though. I don't really love company. I'm a bit of a recluse, but which is probably why I can manage my positivity and optimism, because I don't accept other people's limitations as my own. But I certainly hear a lot of their limitations. There's people around you always ready to argue for their limitations and weaknesses and make judgments on other people. That's one way to live, and it's not the way I choose to live. And if you find that living that way isn't nourishing your soul, it's probably best to make a note of the people around you and whether they are supporting you or holding you back. And if they are holding you back, think about ways you can protect yourself from that. Think about ways you can just not take on their limitations, even as you go through negative experiences yourself. It's okay to try to maintain your positivity even when things are not going that well. There's usually a good side to it. Like things that can really cause you stress, sometimes you could just say, well, it's teaching me how to deal with the stress. It's a crappy situation, but the next time something like this happens, I'm going to be better aware of it, and I'll be better able to cope with it, and I'll have some strategies in place. So all is not lost. It's a challenge. It's not the end. And as long as I keep going, why not be positive about it? Yeah, so that's my opinion on the toxic positivity thing. Do I think I'm toxically positive? No. But do I think it's possible for the content that I put out with my daily readings that I do, where I really put a positive spin on it? Even on the challenging cards, I'm trying to put a positive spin and include the affirmations so that you can tune into those positive, go get them, achieve, believe. I'm trying to communicate those positive energies to people, but not with the idea that I'm trying to brainwash them or facilitate their brainwashing of themselves, but to inspire them to start off their day with a good thought may prevent them feeling disheartened later in the day, or hopefully it will just, take the edge off if you're going through a difficult time. Is it possible for someone to read my work and interpret it in a toxic way? For example, using my affirmations and energy healing courses and spells to run away from their problems and not step up and learn something new when the universe is guiding them to? Yeah, you could do that. You could do that, but you could equally do that just by reading the news headlines. Make you think, well, there's no point to anything. If you want to cultivate a dangerous level of nihilism and cynicism. Just, you could go and fill up on the toxic negativity that's put out all over social media every single day. Now, that was all a bit meandering, but I hope it made some sense. And if you are concerned that you may be a bit too positive for your own good, and you would like to stop, it's such a burden being positive. No, it is if you're around people who make demands that you need to be positive about everything all the time. That's not what I'm doing here. I'm just trying to, when people used to read their horoscopes in the newspaper, and they would use their horoscope to inform their day just a tiny little bit. If it said something good was going to happen, you'd be on the lookout for something good. That's what I'm trying to put out. Something, it's more of think of it as my fortune cookies. So, yeah. I'm putting out your fortune cookies every morning. And if you want a dose of positivity, that's what you can do. Just follow my social media and get your little daily dose. And the hope is that it will counter your daily dose of negativity, which I don't have anything to do with. And I try to avoid putting that rubbish out into the world. Had to pause there so that I didn't say something regrettable. I don't know if that's a thing, because I think you can actually swear on social media. It's just that I don't. Okay, so I wanted to cover the toxic positivity. I didn't have anything else special that I wanted to cover. So now we're going to move on to the questions. And let's see what hang on, I did have something more I wanted to mention. The energy healing articles, there are quite a few that are recommended for those who want to connect with the abundance current that we're currently working with and amplifying in our lives. So I've got a little list here of some of the previous articles I've put out that you might want to listen to at this time to just get a little bit more information, a little bit more inspiration, and align more powerfully with those energies. Of course, if you are attuned to the Abundance Affinity course, the meditation tracks and the ambient versions of those tracks will be much more powerful for you, and it adds another dimension that you can add to your practice. So you might want to listen to the meditations when you're doing your gratitude journaling or affirmations and that sort of thing. But also there's these articles that might inspire you further and have some ideas for things you can try out. Okay, and you can find these on the YouTube channel or the podcast. So just search for the titles, they'll come up. There's Manifesting Made Easy, Gratitude, Spiritual Awakening and the Sacred Symbol of the Lotus, the Great Goddess Kuan Yin, Enlightenment, Compassion and Healing, Your Abundance and Prosperity Altar, Inspiration, Innovation and Ideas, and Developing an Affinity for Abundance, a Law of Attraction article. So those are all previous releases that you can find on this channel and which will help you to align more powerfully with the abundance, affinity, attunement energy. It was channeled through the goddess Kuan Yin, which is why I feel like connecting with lotus energy, it would be a powerful way to, well, it's just another dimension you can bring to the mix. Explore the symbolism of the lotus and see if that resonates with you. And now we're coming to the questions that are related to the subjects of this video. And the first question is, which energy healing courses can help me in my manifesting? Now, I'm going to cheat a bit by visiting my own website, and I will mention that on the top of each page, on the right hand side, if you're on a computer, like a main computer, or in the drop down menu if you're on a mobile, you will find the Abundance and Prosperity course category menu. I put all the courses that are related to that subject on that menu. So we've got the Abundance Affinity Attunement at the top, Archangel Uriel's Prosperity and Progress Activation, Attraction Reiki, Full Abundance Attunement, Lakshmi Golden Good Fortune Activation. That's a beautiful energy. The Manifestation Guidance Program. And if you go to the bottom of the menu, you'll find the Abundance and Prosperity Energy Healer Package, which includes Abundance Affinity Attunement, Lakshmi's Golden Good Fortune Activation, Attraction Reiki, Archangel Uriel's Prosperity and Progress Activation, and reflects a saving of £60 on the individual fees if you take that package. So that there are a number of options that you can take, but if I were to recommend a single course, if you just wanted to start with a single course, I would say the Abundance Affinity Attunement, Lakshmi's Golden Good Fortune, or the Attraction Reiki course would be those I consider the most powerful for somebody who's just starting out with energy work and is looking for ways to enhance their existing practice. So these are courses where I feel that if you already have something that you're doing, these will combine well with what you're already doing and will enhance the effects that you get. They will amplify your results, speeding things up, helping you to align more closely with those high frequency energies and put your own spin on things, like using other people's affirmations. I think sometimes people need to adjust them to their own language so that they speak to them. And the same goes with energy healing practices. I feel like what works best are those systems that allow you to experiment more and use your own methods. Like perhaps you have a daily meditation ritual, and in that case you could easily use one of the energy healing techniques to allow you to focus that morning session on a particular goal. So it's like any systems that allow you to bring your practice into your daily routine are the ones that you're going to use more often, and the ones that you use the most often are going to be the ones that are the most powerful for you. So those would be my recommendations. And if you want the more comprehensive package, the Abundance and Prosperity Energy Healer Package, that's on the course categories menu. So there you go. And now let me find my next question. Right, this one wasn't related to abundance affinity, but it was related to an abundance related energy healing modality. And the person asks, can I send healing transmissions to my friends and family with this system? Well, the system they were working with was the full abundance attunement, but the same will apply to the abundance affinity attunement. And the answer is yes, you can. You can, like any of the systems that I teach, you can share those energies with other people. But the one thing I would say is make sure the other people are receptive to those energies, because not everybody is. And it's not okay to send energy healing to people without their permission. You do need their permission to do that, because everybody has free will. And if you make a decision for somebody that they require healing and they're not open to it, then you may meet some sort of negative resistance from, as your energy comes up against theirs. You may get a bit of it may sort of come back on you in a negative way. So definitely don't do it without their consent. Or whenever you send energy to them, stipulate that it is only if they are happy to receive it, if it's in accordance with their highest spiritual good and is aligned with their free will. So never force energy on another person, never force healing on another person. You are not in a position to decide what's better for other people. You are not an authority. So always bear that in mind. But assuming that they are receptive to the energy, or that they've asked you to send it to them, then yes, you can. And there are lots of ways to do that, and you're bound to come up with your own. But I would say that the techniques described in the Abundance Affinity Attunement course are a good way to do that. And also, if you've taken the Orb of Life course, that's another good way of sending energy to other people. Of course, they will have to call it in, so you know they do have to play their part. As I say, you can't force healing energy onto other people, but that allows you to create a sort of time capsule for the energy, so that they can receive it at the times that suits them best. And I use the Orb of Life regularly in my practice, and even for some kinds of spells or rituals, healing rituals, where I'm creating an energy transmission or sending energy during a spell to the recipient. The Orb of Life is the method that I use to do that. So I find that a very powerful tool, and that's a good addition no matter what your energy healing practices are. If you want to regularly send energy to other people, to situations, or to animals, because like some animals don't like to be touched, I find sending Orb of Life energy to animals is a powerful way of doing it. I tend to visualize those as being sort of like an energetic aura that can surround them, so that they can draw the energy in if they want it, and if they don't, then it will just fly away on the breeze, sort of thing. So again, even with animals, I wouldn't force healing. Never ever force healing. It's not a good thing to do, and it could create a sort of backlash on an energetic level, and best not to do that. Right, so we've covered that. Yes, you can send abundance energies to other people, but just do make sure that they are receptive to them, they know what you're doing, and they're happy with that. And our final question for today. Okay, this one's from somebody, I'm not going to go into the details, but they had been rather poorly for a long period of time, going through some tough times with their health, and during that they had felt their energy was depleted and it had negatively affected their business. So their question was, how can I remedy a build-up of negative energy from ill health? What I would say to this is any kind of energy work will start to get that energy moving. If your energy's been very depleted for a long time, like if you think about it this way, when your energy is healthy and flowing throughout your whole system, negative energy can't really take root. I mean, you will experience negative energy from time to time, but it's not going to hang around. But if you've been ill, say you've been bedridden for a period of time, and during that time you haven't been able to focus on anything really because you've just not been well enough, and you haven't been able to use energy healing techniques or look after yourself the way that you usually would, negative energies could create a kind of residue in your system that's not naturally being cleared away because your life force isn't circulating as efficiently as usual. And so this isn't something that will happen suddenly, like you get a cold and then within a few days your energy's all jacked up. This is something that it can happen if somebody has a long period of illness, or if they're dealing with a negative situation, perhaps a negative living arrangement, or a job that really takes their energy. It's not to do specifically with being ill, it's more to do with being in a situation where your energy is really depleted and not flowing freely, so it's not completing its usual detox of your whole system, and a bit of residue builds up and you don't feel right, you just feel a bit off. And the problem with that is, obviously, if there's negative energy within your aura, you may attract it from other people or inspire it in other people and in yourself, like keep repeating similar patterns. Like, it's hard to think of a good example for this, but like supposing you had a big argument with somebody and your energy was really low, so it didn't clear out of your energy field. The effects of that didn't clear from your energy field the way they usually would, and because there was a residual energetic signature within your energy field, the next time you spoke to them, you felt the same feelings and you felt antagonistic towards them. And because you were feeling that way, even if you were holding it back to an extent, but they were picking up on your energy, it might inspire them to be a bit more negative with you. So it's a very subtle effect, but it can have quite serious consequences. So for dealing with that, it doesn't have to be positive energies. It doesn't have to be like the abundance affinity, or although the person was inquiring about that because they were actually looking at the option for the Luring Moon Magical Intensive, which is a ritual I perform for people that is a 30-day ritual and brings in positive energies, changes things around. If you're in this sort of situation, in their situation, it was an excellent option for them to take. But in order to support that, they also wanted to take a course that they could use every day during the luring moon abundance alignment. So the abundance affinity attunement was one of my recommendations, but any energy healing modality that will get your energy moving and increase the flow of life force is going to be helpful in that situation. So not just abundance affinity. If I were recommending an energy healing modality for somebody in that situation who wasn't particularly looking at the luring moon abundance alignment one, if they were just looking for a course in order to get their energy moving and restore their vitality, I would say Kundalini Reiki, Usui Reiki, the chakra healing attunements, Archangel Raphael's healing matrix would be another good one, and the violet flame attunement actually would be a very good one. That's a good energy for transforming negative energy into positive energy. And very often it's just clearing away the residue from a negative experience to prevent those same energetic signatures from being amplified in your next experience of life. So just helping you to maintain your energy. And I think that's everything that we've got to discuss today. That brings us to the end of yet another Mayastar Unscripted video, and I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope it's been helpful, and I hope you found these words inspirational. If you want to learn more about what I do, I teach energy healing courses, I provide spells for people and healing rituals, and you can find everything on my website at mayastar.net, where you can also join the mailing list to stay up to date on all my latest offerings. And I hope I'll see you again here next week. And in the meantime, I wish you peace, prosperity, and progress in all you do. With blessings.